guy's nicknames for EA Sports, dude. And we were like, we gotta come up with a nickname. He's like, oh, it just goes enough to be EA Sports, man. How you feeling, brother?
Good, man. You?
Good to meet you, brother.
You too. You smell amazing.
Oh man, that's the old school trick I learned back in you know, when I was just a young buck. You want to stay lit out here, you go with the Dolce & Gabbana light blue. I squirt that on all my players, bro, to keep them so they're not dusty before the game.
You got two basic functions of the body: protect and perform. If you're in a bad spot, your body's going to protect first. It's not going to allow itself to get hurt. So it's going to get back into a neutral spot, a neutral spine to go. So we see that a lot with guys as far as getting out front and getting back. Having them go, listen, you're either going to protect your body or you're going to perform. We're trying to skip protection and go straight into performance.
I like that.
That's interesting. That's an interesting concept. I'll tell you why. When you talk about fearless or protect and then perform, there's something that's like well known that's saying like, if you have fearless movements or you have fear in your movements of what it is, and that's why it's so hard for guys to hit curveballs. I saw this special on with Mike Tyson and his trainer. The guy that trained him, Customato, was the guy that when he died, Teddy Atlas took over. And Teddy Atlas talking about Mike Tyson. He was like, his technique was not the best technique. He was not the most skilled fighter. And there's a lot of guys that in a heavy bag can be like, and make those perfect combinations. But once the other guy, why boxing is crazy is because once another guy's trying to fight you, your body instinctually, nature says, run. Fight or flight, right? So going, I'm gonna protect myself. So once a ball is moving at the velocity that can actually kill you, and you know that, right? Like as a human, if you have any fear in your movements, the guys with less fear in their movement, you can't execute any of this stuff once you get in the batter's box when the velo dictates that if you can break bones, your body's first thought is protect myself. You have to fight that first and then get into actually executing movement. It's interesting. It's interesting stuff.
And there's another part of like protection is protecting against failure. So where I see the most problems is kids hold on to their swings because they're afraid to miss.
Yeah.
So it's trusting those movements both from like my body's in the most athletic position so I can move the way I want to, and then also I can trust that I'm not afraid of quote unquote failures. I'm gonna get my swing off. So me and Pat talk about it all the time. I want to let the swing go instead of make the swing happen, and that's what happens. They hold on to the swing to try to hit the baseball instead of just letting the swing go and then trusting their timing in the swing.
Yeah.
Release. You should feel like those arms are being pulled out of the shoulder socket. There should never be a force through extension.
That is something that we talk about so much is that like, and we can do some like stuff on the tee where we do that, but we do drills where like extension, I mean, I've heard guys all the time say like push to extend, you gotta push those arms out. It's not, the bat and the release of the energy from your swing are literally, like Nate said, pulling your arms and your barrel off your body. And the direction that happens is going to show you if everything was working the right way early in the swing. So most young hitters, the reason they hit the ball so deep is that part of their swing happens over here. So the only time their barrel's covering the plate is back there.
Yeah.
They can't trust the release of the swing because when they release the swing, it's going down the third baseline if they're right-handed hitter.
That's what we talked about last night. Like in a lot of times as private hitting guys, I think we fall into the trap of like it's high school coaches versus private hitting guys, or but that's not the case. A high school coach doesn't get 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour to work with each individual hitter. So all they know is the only way he has a chance to hit a ball that way is to let it get deep. So his concept of hitting is not bad. It's helping his team get better, but that's not the fix. But they don't have time to do that.
Right.
That's not their job. That's where guys like us, we try to help. But the problem is you run into it where it's high school coach versus private sector, and that's what we want to get rid of. Like the more I can have a high school coach come in and say, hey, this is what this kid's struggling with, that's when I can help.
I talk to all the high school coaches.
Yeah, and when you can get
what
them
I tell
to open
them,
up like that,
like
we're on the
especially
same page.
because most of the guys around here are pretty good.
Yeah.
What I tell my guys is like, listen, I don't have to win. Yeah. He's got to fix you right now to win. Yeah. I have the benefit. I don't have to.
Something bad. It's just something that's going to help them.
It's going to be a Band-Aid.
Exactly.
And then we'll come in here and work on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so it's not that I disagree with what he's doing. It's he's giving you that instant fix for you to go 1 for 3 today.
Here's one that I run into all the time. So I'll ask a hitter, what pitch does your barrel release to sooner, or release sooner on, a pitch away or a pitch in? 85+% of kids are always saying in. So if you think about it, just like you're driving down the interstate and you have 3 different exits. You're going to get off at exit 1 would be away, exit 2 would be middle, exit 3 would be in. So most young hitters think, all right, ball in, I need to get my barrel out front sooner, so I'm going to release it sooner. Where in reality, we're just bypassing exit 1, bypassing exit 2, stopping at exit 3, then the barrel's releasing. But if you ask literally 85% of high school kids down, they're thinking the barrel releases earlier on a pitch in than it does away. Well, that's why you pitch away, because it's harder to hit a ball that way far, because you have a shorter amount of space to gain bat speed to drive the ball that way. That's why guys get paid to drive the ball that way. We have that amount of space to generate bat speed versus we have.
Well, and that exact thing, that's why when you pitch to guys and you see a young hitter like that does that, you go, they missed that first pitch to say on the block, out of third, fastball, strike, or they fouled off and they're late. Like, the next pitch, most guys are like, oh, let's go slider, let's go. Now, like, fastball in. That's it. The next one is no chance if they're missing, because they're going to be, with that, exactly why you're saying that is that they're definitely going to be not be on time for that.
That's something
if you're late on the way.
Talking about that too, like, you see guys get taught, you gotta hit the outside pitch, you gotta stay short to it. I'm like, how you gonna cover the plate and stay tight with your arm? Now your initial move has to be right, but I need extension. I gotta release the barrel. I gotta cover, and I gotta get there early.
That's where connection, I think, is.
So stay short. We've all heard stay short our whole life. Stay inside the baseball. And every time I've ever seen it demonstrated when I was a young hitter, it was this. It was in here. It was a push. It was pull the hands inside the ball. Where the movement is back there. It's that deep connection. Okay, now, and you talk about this, I saw you do a video talking about the exits, just like he was saying, like, once you connect right, now you can exit the zone in any direction. If you connect improperly, say we connect out here, or we never get connected, now we only have one exit, that's that way across the zone. But if we connect properly deep inside the shoulder, now I can either exit that way, or like he was saying, I can just stay connected and keep turning. But it's when I go to cover the plate, like, I have to extend. If you try to hit a ball that's on the outer third and you want to hit it hard that way and you stay short, you can't do it. You're going to hit a side spin little duck fart over there.
We use your term, unfold.
Yeah.
I like that.
Unfold.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, and I don't know the answer, but you talk a lot about the hip deceleration, and is that tied in? When I think of it as a pitching perspective, like when you're trying to pitch, you're trying to be against that front leg so that the energy says, we can't go out here, and it's coming through. It's almost like I use an analogy of like a car hitting a wall, and everything in the car goes forward.
Crash test dummy.
Right.
Yes.
So
exactly.
I guess my question is the hip deceleration tied to staying connected and exit-wise? So like on an inside pitch, are you going to have more deceleration out in front, and it's something that you're trying to drive this way, you're a little bit less?
Yeah, so I talk a lot about decel direction, but hitters have a hard time understanding, like, well, how do I stop a direction? Like, because if you're not moving, how do you have direction? So I say, well, don't necessarily think about the direction you're stopping, but think about the direction your hips are firing. So if I'm firing to a pitch away, my hips are going to fire. My swing actually starts when my hips stop. That's when it releases. So, or like if I'm throwing a punch and Casey's nose is my target, I'm going to turn to contact, not pass. So I can land a punch on Casey's nose. Even if I turn everything past contact, I can still land it, but I'm not staying behind it. Okay. When I stop at it and behind it, now I'm through that.
My boy Matt
that's leverage.
says if you have that what were you talking about, we slam on the brakes, it's saying like, you know how when you were kids, you had those little towels, you like snap them at people?
Yep.
He's like, so you shred that little thing on the end and you dip it in water, and I'm about to get you. If I just go like this and my knee doesn't lock out and I just hit him, if I slap and keep going, it's just going to just slide off his body. When that shit hurts is when you blow that up and you slam on it, and then the tip delivers the blow because you slammed on the brakes.
Well, it's this versus
you have to stop.
Yeah,
that versus that.
You have to stop to go fast. Yeah. One thing has to stop for the next thing to go fast, and that's we see guys running a problem with overturning. Like you were talking about in the fight, like they think, okay, to hit the ball harder, I need to turn more.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's the other way around. I've got to turn violently in a short space and then stop just as violently in order for me to hit the ball. That's leverage. That's how you get all the technical terms, kinetic chain, and all that stuff. But
and then when you do that, the energy's like, I can't go that way, and they go, where do I go? And they go, oh, here comes the hands.
Exactly. And that's where you get that pull. Everything, all of that energy that you're generating now gets released in the right direction. Versus if you overturn and never stop, it just slowly decelerates over here. You never deliver to the ball.
But here's the problem
We
with
flip
that
it too, though.
Go ahead.
We talk hands stop the hips, and it's the exact same thing. But I show them this. Here, I'll let you do it. I want
Those
to
are some crispy Jordans, Joey.
put your feet on the handles.
Jesus.
All right? So balance it, and I want you to take a swing 40%. You don't have to kill yourself, but the catch is, don't let your hips go that way.
Don't let my hips
Yep.
go that
So
way.
take a swing. Yeah, do it. So I've taken your brakes out. So I've taken any structure you have below you, just so they can feel that this is going to happen. Protection. We move in opposites, quadrants. You can't do it. Nobody's been able to do it.
That's crazy.
So that is, if they are having a hard time stopping, or they try and stop too
Try it
early,
again. EA Sports, let's go. Come on, my guy.
Why does that happen?
and we're reciprocal movers, we're built to protect our spine. So it's the same thing as you were to walk. Shoulders and hips move in opposite direction. That's all we're doing here. Everything is rotating around your spine. That's all that is.
So
when I just taking your feet out.
When you put your feet on the ground, it resists that force. So then that energy now gets delivered into the ball.
So it stops instead of counter rotate back. You actually will see, like
so-
Bryce Harper, you'll see it wave.
So that brings up a good question, and this is, again, I think it's everything in pitching. But when you're driving off your back leg, are you almost gripping into the ground this way?
Yeah, so it's a heel connection. So this is where so many guys get in trouble is, and we're taught as young, we got to push. So it's that. Well, A, that's not efficient. You're not staying connected with the ground. B, you're creating pitch pressure because you're now pushing your body at the ball. So we talk about it when we do the PVC stuff, trying to keep the heels anchored as long as possible. So I don't put my body weight in my heels. I put pressure in my heels. So that's a different way that I think about it. Me and you have talked about it. It's like if you're standing on like an air mattress and you're trying to push the air out from the air mattress. I'm not sinking down like this. Now I'm releasing the pressure out through my knees. I'm gonna hold my body stacked and I'm pushing through my heels. So then as I fire, my entire body is connected to the ground. Hold, 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 hold. And then this back hip is gonna rip my heel off the ground. Once it extends, boom, and that hip releases, then the foot comes with it. So yes, you're literally, and I've talked with guys about where they'll get back there and they'll actually kind of dig that foot in so they can feel it anchor in the ground so that everything comes from up here instead of getting into their toes.
We do a lot of stuff barefoot.
Yeah.
Like our first 15 minutes is you have no shoes on. So that way they can feel it. It does two things. They feel the ground, and if they're fighting that over rotation, like it hurts. Like so they don't do it. You know, it makes it's an easy fix for them because if something doesn't feel good, I'm not gonna do it, right? You know, so we do a lot of stuff barefoot. Feels, front toss. I don't throw BP because I don't trust those guys to not break a foot. So we'll do front toss with it.
It's just as important with the front leg too. So you see so many guys will get here and then when they swing, they wind up in that toe versus, and Joey talked about this with me like a year and a half ago about finishing, like for guys that have a bad problem with wanting to come up out of that front side, actually finish toes up so that they feel that heel stay anchored in the ground so they hold the ground. And that's where you're turning centered. When you see guys start to leave the ground, their body weight's not centered. So they're either too far forward and then they're gonna push up to create space or they're stuck back. That way, if they're centered, now we can hold the ground and those toes will just pop up naturally. You see so many big league guys do it. They'll either blow out to the side or they'll finish actual toes up where they're just holding that heel anchored versus the ball of their foot. But what are we taught? We're taught land on the ball of your foot, land on the ball of your foot. Well, yeah, I'm gonna land there, but then once I fire, I told a guy the other day to think about there's a nail in the heel of your shoe, and you're trying to drive that nail into the ground through your swing.
Well, that's where your leg connects, is back here.
Exactly. But what did they all try to do it in their toes, and there's no pressure there, there's no strength there.
I think kind of to build on this too a little bit, a lot of times the fix is mistaken. So we're thinking, oh, hitter's too rotational. He's back on the back leg spinning. Well, is it because he's mechanically incorrect, or is it because he's getting started late and getting pitch pressure and getting his doors blown off? So knowing the difference between what was the issue on that swing.
Yeah.
Was it pitch pressure that caused you to try to create time and space to bail out of there to get the barrel there? Because if that's the case, in a game situation, I'm trying to barrel ball up, is that the worst case thing that can happen to me? No. But if I want to have a biomechanically clean swing and keep a better path, the timing is where all that is set. If we're not on time, we can't keep the
It doesn't
path.
matter.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters.
That was so, when you asked what do you see the biggest flaws are,
Yeah.
it's barrel path and timing. But then it's what came first. was the kid, did he have bad timing always, and so the barrel path then developed to make contact? Or did he have a bad barrel path, and so that's the only way he can make contact?
Yeah.
And then you got to figure out with the kid, if you tell him, hey, like, let's be earlier, right? Well, you got to figure out, is that the way to go about it, or is it you need to change the path first, so then he could trust being earlier?
Right.
And that's kind of that little puzzle you have to work with, is that both problems feed off each other. Right? So,
Do you feel on time is our number one question.
Right.
Do you feel like you're on time?
No,
I
try
don't
to
care
get
if
'em-
you actually were on time.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you were on time?
I try to
that
get-
usually gives me the answer of, now let's go bat path, or all right, if you felt rushed, let's get started. Go as slow as possible here.
So
And I'll sit guys here.
Well, but all and every big league guy that I watch is their gathers are early and slow.
Super
They're not what kids that are in little league are. Get your front foot down. Get your front foot down and like rush to get there is like, and then you're gonna and it's just
Or they rush the forward move.
yeah.
Slow.
They'll
and
go
then they
slow
Yeah.
here, get hung up, and then go quick.
And then go quick.
So what I tell guys, we'll do stuff where they drop their bat, because contact, that fear of missing and the priority to make contact overrides their ability to start to feel where their body's at, what it's doing. So we'll put the bat down and I'll throw at them, and I'll get them to only feel being on time with their body. It's like, okay, I want to feel like I'm ready to hit, all right, with my body. Don't worry about the bat. All right, and I've actually had guys that I have them swing and miss on purpose. I want you to swing and miss on time. And they're like, wait, what? It's funny, you'll tell them to swing and miss, they'll still hit it.
Right.
Because they don't have the barrel awareness, and B, they can't eliminate that thought of, I got to hit the baseball versus I'm going to take a swing on time. I want you to change your swing plane, swing perfectly on time, but miss it.
Yeah.
And so then they start actually feeling, I'm like, where was the ball? Because instead of them watching where the ball goes, they're more aware of where the ball is when their bat goes through the zone.
Yeah.
And they'll feel barrels here, balls over there, like, whoa, okay, that's different. Now they start to feel getting going early, getting that body going early, and they stop worrying about the barrel being there. Because that's where the mechanics break down, is their body's putting that panic button in their head. Holy crap, I got to rush the barrel. When they forget about the barrel, they just get their body going.
Yeah.
It starts to change, and they're more aware of stuff. So,
I like that.
That's where I think that, like, so Bregman's got a video out that talks about I don't hit off the tee, which awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
Chase's last few years in the big leagues, I mean, he didn't hit off the tee a ton because
He was awful at it.
very true.
Oh, it's-
Very true.